12:45 to 2 p.m. The Lunchroom. Informative, enlightening, provocative, engaging. The Lunchroom on RCI. Food for thought. The station that gives you, more lunch.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. It's our first program for the year 2024, this Monday, January the 8th. And it's program number 1113 of the Lunchroom. I'm your host, Calix George Jr. Now, of course, if you want to tell us what's on your plate today, the number to call in is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. As well as our WhatsApp number. You can call us on 724-0008. Again, that number is 724-0008. Now, in addition to 101.1 FM radio, you can also get us at our website. It is rcistlucia.com. That's rcistlucia.com. And, of course, you can always download our older shows, our previous shows on that platform as well, if you so choose. And we are live now on Facebook. Just search for the official page of Radio Caribbean International on Facebook. And, of course, be sure to share that link, please, with your friends and family. Now, some birthday wishes for today going out to former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny D. Anthony. Happy birthday to you, sir. And we wish you an absolutely wonderful and fantastic and blessed birthday. It's also the birthday of Miss Benise Joseph. Happy birthday to you, Benise, and we hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful birthday celebration. Also sending birthday greetings out to Mr. Irvin Springer. Happy birthday to you, sir. We do hope that you're having a fantastic birthday. Hope it's a great one indeed. Also sending birthday greetings across the sea to Mr. Elvio Do Nascimento. Happy birthday to you, and we hope that you're having a splendid birthday celebration. Also celebrating her birthday today is Mrs. Sarah Flood Bobra. Happy birthday to you, and we do hope that you're having a wonderful and very, very blessed birthday as well. Mr. Oswald Montoot, happy birthday to you, sir, and we do hope that it's a wonderful birthday for you and hope it's very much blessed. And as well, Miss Monique Duboulé, happy birthday to you. We do hope that it is a wonderful day and hope it's filled with lots of blessings as well. It's also my birthday, so happy birthday to me. And of course, some notable individuals born on this day include Elvis Presley. A bit of history for today. In the year 1656, the oldest surviving commercial newspaper, and that is actually published in Haarlem in the Netherlands, began circulation on this day. In 1790, the first United States President George Washington delivered the first State of the Union address. In the year 1835, the U.S. national debt was $0 for the first and only time in history. In 1912, on this day, chiefs, representatives of peoples and church organizations, and other prominent individuals formed the African National Congress and declare its aim to bring all Africans together as one people to defend their rights and freedoms. And in 1926, on this day, Abdulaziz Ibn Saud becomes king of Najd and Hejaz, and that was the forerunner of the kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we now move on to our dish of the day at this time. The Daily Dish is brought to you the kind compliments of our good friends at Tiles Plus.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A+, with all kind of tiles. Come down to Tiles Plus. We also got gasway and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Land Street in Castries, Bosses Grosile, and Slack Street in Dufort. Telephone number 453-7939.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And thanks for joining us here at Radio Caribbean International on the Lunchroom. Of course, a happy, bright, and prosperous new year to all our listeners. And we're wishing you the very, very best for the year 2024. We do hope, of course, that it is a productive year. We do hope that it is a prosperous year, that it is, in fact, a year of action, a year of growth and development, a year that we can see good progress as a country, as well as within our own community level and individual pursuits. And no doubt there'll be lots of things going on in the world that will continue to concern us, and that may certainly impact us this coming year. Of course, it's also our 45th anniversary of independence as a country, as a sovereign nation, and that will be, of course, be marked in February of this year, February the 22nd. And one can see that as certainly a marker towards the half century in 2029. And we certainly have to begin preparing for that. And certainly as a country, what we would have achieved after 50 years of independence would certainly be very, very important. And no doubt there are many areas that we want to see improvements in, and as a society, as an economy, as a people who are looking to thrive and to live a peaceful and sustainable existence here on Earth. And of course, the matters of how we get along, how we organize ourselves, how we relate to each other is certainly very important. And we've seen tremendous challenges of late in dealing with certain scourges, the scourge of violence, not being able to come to reasonable conclusions regarding our dealings with each other. And of course, some may argue that if it's all interrelated, that there are a lot of other issues which are impacting us that are not allowing us to be able to do so. And so certainly we do have to have a critical look at some of these challenges, whether it may be universal access to things like education and healthcare and housing, and these other common and social goods. That is certainly a very important aspect if we are to deal with a more equitable society, a society that can find good balance, that can ensure that each and every human being is treated with dignity and with respect. And we have to, of course, hope that we can make all our efforts in this regard to see how we can do better in this regard. And so within this context, of course, we will listen to the address, which in fact was just delivered by Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Joseph Pierre last night, and about 16 minutes long, but giving a sense of the government's agenda for the year 2024. So we will be taking that in as our dish of the day. And of course, when we come back, we can, of course, have a conversation regarding some of these matters, as well as the other aspirations for the year 2024. And that there was the New Year's address by Prime Minister the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, delivered yesterday for the year 2024, looking towards what we should be expecting in terms of the government's agenda for the upcoming year. Of course, the government's financial year begins on April the 1st, and no doubt there will also be very soon the presentation of the estimates for 2024-2025, as well as the accompanying appropriation bill for that same period to give much greater detail to some of the fiscal measures and policy measures of the government. Of course, the current administration is nearing its midterm. You'd have thought, of course, going back to July the 26th of 2021. So end of January this year would be about 2.5 years, roughly since that last general election. And so no doubt they'll be looking to give some momentum to a number of the actions that have been, of course, promised and a part of the government's agenda. There was mention, of course, of the matter of minimum wage, and we have certainly seen some countries take certain actions regarding that in their recent budgets as well across the Caribbean. In the case of St. Kitts and Nevis, as of January 1st this year, the minimum wage moved from $9 per hour, which works out to be about $360 per week on a 40-day week, and it's moving from $9 per hour to $10.75 per hour, bringing it up to about $430 per week for that Twin Island Federation. And of course, we've tended to see fairly high salaries in the case of St. Kitts and Nevis in comparison to the Windward Islands. However, in the case of Grenada, they also are taking some action. The minimum wage to any working person will be no less than $1,200 per month, or no less than $60 per day. So, of course, you can see there that rate is just a little lower than what is being proposed in the case of St. Kitts and Nevis. But, well, it depends on how you work it out, because on an 8-hour day, that would work out to be somewhere around $7.50 per hour being proposed for Grenada. But they have also indicated in the case of a month, $1,200 per day. In a 4-week month, roughly $1,200 per month. Right, on a 4-week month basis, that's about $300 per week. And so again, $7.50 per hour on a 40-day work week. So again, you can see some of the differences there. St. Kitts and Nevis looking at a $10.75 per hour. Grenada looking somewhere at about $7.50 per hour. In the case of Anguilla, they've also taken some action there as of January 1st. The establishment of a national minimum wage being set at EC $16.20 per hour. $16.20 per hour. Again, Anguilla, much smaller country, British Overseas Territory. Last I checked, I think the population of Anguilla is around 12,000 or so. And of course, very highly dependent on tourism and financial services. and perhaps again their situation in terms of cost of living. Everything is pretty much imported, high cost of living, and so you could see the setting of a pretty high, relatively speaking, national minimum wage. And so far, some decisions being taken by governments in Antigua and Barbuda, as well as St. Vincent and Dominica, regarding public sector salaries. Of course, that is also going to become a very topical matter, no doubt, as the government of St. Lucia, the public service, has to begin its process of negotiations for this upcoming triennium for salaries within the public sector. And of course, in the case of Antigua and Barbuda, they're looking at a 14% salary increase to take effect as of this month. And in the case of Dominica, they've been looking at somewhere between 6 and 13% for increases to salaries of public officers. So just to give you a sense as to what is certainly going on in the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, in the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, regarding the matter of wages, both in the private sector, and of course the government has the means of influencing that by way of setting minimum wages, and as well within the public sector, where it has a more direct obligation regarding the setting of salaries and salary levels. Now, we're actually due for our weather report at this time, so we're going to end our dish of the day and head across to take in that report.
This has been The Daily Dish.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A plus. With all kind of tiles, come down to Tiles Plus. We also got gasway and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down, don't mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Land Street in Castries, Bosses Jugo Zile, and Slack Street in Beaufort. Telephone number 453-7939.
Island style, yeah. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, yeah. We'll have to make the right choice. Island style. Whoa. We got the time that will make you happy. Island style. Oh yeah. We make your dream come alive in Island style.
We have tiles and thin sets, pieces and ground. Everything you need to sort the house out. For the best price and the latest style. Take a little drive down to Island Style car.
We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, quality, price, service, choice. It's all an Island Style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Belarus, Rodney Bay, on the John Compton Highway, Castries, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Viewfort Highway. Or call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style, Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
And that's what, of course, to the 1.1. It's now time for a weather report as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Talent Bar. The forecast for St. Lucia valid for the next 24 hours. The winds will be blowing from between the east and east-northeast near 21 miles per hour or 33 kilometers per hour. The weather partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy and breezy with brief scattered showers this afternoon. Generally cloudy and breezy with scattered light to moderate showers from tonight into tomorrow. There is an advisory in here which reads small craft operators and sea beavers are advised to exercise caution due to brisk winds and locally rough seas. The forecast for the Lesser Antilles, partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered light to moderate showers over the Windward Islands and areas for the south. Elsewhere, fair to partly cloudy with a few brief showers. And the weather summary, the Atlantic high pressure system will generate moderate to brisk easterly winds and locally rough seas across the region. During the next few days, patches of low-level clouds drifting along the wind flow will produce scattered showers mainly over the southern half of the Lesser Antilles during the next 24 hours. And this was the weather report as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Talent Bar.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Island style. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, we'll have to make the right choice. Island style. Whoa. We got the time that will make you happy. Island style. Oh yeah. We make your dream come alive in Island style.
We have tiles and thin sets, pieces and ground. Everything you need to sort the house out. For the best price and the latest style. Take a little drive down to Island Style Car.
We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, quality, price, service, choice. It's all an Island style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Belarus, Rodney Bay, on the John Compton Highway, Street, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Viewfort Highway. Or call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style.
And welcome back to the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. We're back on air, first program of the year, and we do hope that we can hear from you this day and for the rest of the year. Of course, the number to call in to tell us what's on your plate today, it is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. And you can also send us your messages or call in to our WhatsApp number. That is 724-0008. Again, 724-0008. And of course, we are back up and running on our Facebook platform. Thankfully, we were down for a little while. And that number is 45. Sorry, that of course you can get it at the online at the official page of Radio Caribbean International. You can send our messages there as well. Let's try to get in a call at this time as we head to the phones. Good afternoon and welcome to the lunchroom. What's on your plate today?
Soup.
Soup. Oh, wonderful. What kind of soup are you having?
Chicken soup.
Very nice, very nice.
Okay, I'm just calling to first of all to wish you a very happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
Wish you all the best, health, wealth, everything for the New Year.
Many happy returns to you.
Radio Caribbean because I won the tank, the Christmas tank.
Sorry, you won. What did you win?
The Christmas program they had, there was this big 1,000-gallon tank.
Ah, okay. Yes.
And I was trying. And when I was home, I just said they called my name, so I actually won it.
Oh, congratulations.
Because I enjoyed the program. I just like to do it for fun because I rather the trivia and the question and identifying songs instead of just speaking.
Well, you can never have enough water stored, so you know that's definitely a very useful.
I use a name that I never like using, which is my other name, which is Stephanie.
Okay.
I don't like the name Stephanie, but I actually use it when necessary.
Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations, and I know certainly, unfortunately, over the Christmas season there were some challenges with the water company and issues of line maintenance, and of course, whenever that has to happen, we of course end up in a situation where you don't have water for a number of days. Yes, yes. So, and of course, at the national level, there's a need for additional potable water storage. After it's actually been treated.
But I always have water there, like I use drums. I keep a lot of water there. So whenever it goes, I always have some water to maybe wash dishes or do any other thing. Because it's always necessary to save water.
Right, right.
Yes,
And that's another thing that we certainly have to be looking at a little bit more in terms of the issue of rainwater harvesting and seeing how we can even reduce the amount of water that we actually are getting from the utility company. That also I know is something in many islands, especially in the Leeward Islands, in places like Bermuda. Having your own system for collection, whether it's from your roof and of course having a cistern for storage. They take that very, very seriously because they've always had perennial water woes. And so in the case of Bermuda, for instance, all the houses are lined with this white, calcium substance, limestone, and so that they can, get clean water coming off their roofs.
because I heard the people of Belarus are complaining they haven't had water for about 6 weeks.
Yes, I think there's been some issue with that line into the Beausejour, Belarus area.
Well, I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year. I'm hoping that it will be a peaceful year. Less shooting and stabbing and all of those things. And I'm hoping, especially to the young people, that, some of them have so much talent, so much skill, so much, but they don't even tap into that to see how they can transform their life. And that's what I'm saying to them. Use the talent and the skill you have to uplift yourself instead of chopping and shooting one another. So, because at the end of the day, as I said, I have a large number of my family, especially girls and boys, that are under the age of 30. So, you know how I feel about young people and what they do with their lives. I'm wishing all of them that just try to be more peaceful. Use them, instead of using their hands to destroy, use their hands to uplift others and do something else. They mind. I really do not want to hear too many killings, or in fact, no killings at all for this year. And that's why I was very, very disappointed.
Well, we already had one caller. At least one, yeah. There was a homicide in the Ravine Poisson area in Castries Southeast.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and I believe there was another individual who was already been was shot in the Westall Group area in Vieux-Fort, in the town of Vieux-Fort. So I'm not too sure what the circumstances are in terms of
I'm hoping that
his well-being.
only because it's terrible. In Trinidad, it's like people are just being killed, like almost every single day by twos, by threes, and it's heart-wrenching to hear those things. That's why I was a really bit disappointed with a woman as myself when I heard a man in Chosia actually came. And he said, I listened to the story. The lady said that her partner of 38 years came up to her, asked her, where's the son? She told the son girlfriend is inside the house. The man went, gave something to his son's girlfriend, and then came out and tell the lady, today I'm going to kill you. And he started chopping her. Her wrist was even severed. And yet, when the police killed the gentleman, the lady is asking for justice. I don't know if he thought the lady was a pig because it was Christmas Eve, and he was chopping, because the way he said, I'm killing you today. And I know it's pigs you kill on Christmas Eve. Most people like that at the time when I grew up. So, and then police was called to help you. You had how many surgeries? Now I'm hearing you asking for justice. I can understand maybe you are loving a man for 38 years. You said you was a breadwinner. But at the end of the day, he has been abusing you for years. And he finally decided Christmas Eve was the day to actually kill you. And he chopped you.
From her account, certainly this isn't something. Well, I'm not sure that he has gone that to that extent, but she certainly did indicate that they have had issues in the past. And I don't know. Sometimes you see when people are in those situations, they don't want. They're somewhat dependent financially, and this is why, of course, things like the domestic violence legislation is so very important to protect.
Them about that, a lot more education to be done. But at the end of the day, even though they have to educate me, don't tell me you will stand there for years and just be beaten, slapped, kicked, all sorts of things, and you just taking it like that. And you have children that come in, are growing up, although their children are grown children. But then what, they're going to follow in your footsteps? They'll allow the same thing to happen to them? What does it take for a woman when you're beaten to just say enough is enough? And just, I'm not to kill the man or do anything, but then you have to stand up and fight for yourself. You cannot allow yourself to be abused like that till you're almost dead.
Yeah, and I think it.
Sorry to say, so a man told me that I wouldn't accept it. What justice I would accept. After the police shoot you, I'll make sure I go and see that you're actually dead.
We should never be in a situation where we're accepting violence.
He could come back if the police, he wasn't shot,
And
killed. He could have come back when he come out of jail and
Yes,
finished.
well, without a doubt, he could have shown. Yeah, he could have been vengeful. He could have taken action again. It could have been back to square one. We're not saying, however, the actions. I mean, the police did it because I think the individual was trying to escape, or was in a situation where, I think he was attacking. He himself tried to attack some other police officers, and that's when they had to take certain action. So I assume, of course, we have to go through the process of having the coroner's inquest and whatnot to ensure that the police are, have taken responsible action. But of course, it's an unfortunate situation that he has, his own life has, of course, had to be lost in this, because we still would have liked to have hoped that there could have been some rehabilitation, some change and whatnot. I know it's, some people will tell me, oh, well, you're sounding very optimistic or overly optimistic in some of these situations. There's no hope, but we have to believe that we can do better in terms of assisting people who are in these. Because, quite often, caller, these perpetrators may very well have been victims of violence themselves. Quite often they may have been abused themselves, and quite often they're facing a lot of other mental health issues. So it's an unfortunate situation all around.
But the fact that you have been abused does not give you the right to abuse me.
Definitely not.
Did not do it to you.
Definitely not, and that is completely unacceptable. And so, I mean, this individual clearly should have been brought to justice earlier. He should have been brought into some means. Now, you see, the other problem too, caller, is that we quite often are aware of these situations. So I don't know whether people were aware of what this lady was going through already. But, it's a wake-up call that, there is sometimes you've got to be your brother's keeper. You've got to.
But sometimes people are aware and they talk to those people.
Maybe so. We don't know, caller. We really don't know the details. And let's hope that that the individual actually gets the kind of support that she needs now, especially.
That's what they said they were going to do for her if they would raise your voice and all that.
Because now more than ever, she certainly needs support. Her concern was that she's lost her breadwinner, right? That was one of her major concerns there. So clearly she needs the support to pick her up and to, find, obviously she has physical injuries right now, psychological injuries. She's grieving as well. There's a lot that's going on there. So she definitely needs a significant amount of psychosocial as well as material support. And family support at this time. So it's not a good situation. But, it really goes to show that we're facing so many challenges at different levels. And it's some of these problems, how they manifest themselves, they can sometimes get to that point where, an individual has ended up dead, as a result of this. And, but the other thing about it, Truecaller, is that I know there's been a lot of, the government spends a good amount of money every year maintaining a home for women who can seek, so that they can seek, protection for themselves and their families, if they've got children. and I don't know if that's even being utilized. Maybe some people don't even know that.
They're not aware of it, but you DBS, I that's one I can give them that. Almost every single day, DBS has this ad about abuse.
Right.
Telling you, and they have different people doing it. They have the lady herself, Linda, one of them. But it's like constant. So if you are somebody that is paying attention, they're giving you the information all the time. They're giving you information, telling you don't allow it to happen. So if you maybe have not seen it, somebody I'm sure would have pointed that out to people, and I think it's all very nice on GPS, but I think from now on, I suppose every television station and even some should be playing those things.
Yeah, you're very correct about that.
Where to go to get help.
I mean, this is a very important part of our justice system. This is why we have a family court. This is why we have institutions to support families and to support children and women who are finding themselves in abusive situations. And so hopefully the Department of Gender Affairs is listening, and they shouldn't be afraid of coming out and consistently making people a lot more aware of what is available, of the services that are available through their division and human services. And it's not just about the individuals themselves who may be facing it, but also you may know about a situation and you should be able to provide advice. You should be able to provide.
So Stanley was saying this morning that it should be taught at school from the very inception as soon as the children come to school. Yes, he said the boys should be taught. All schools, they should be taught not to raise their hand and name it. But I think it should be go both ways, because boys, as much as boys may be raising their hand, there are women, men too. So it goes both ways. So as he said, he thinks that should be at
Well, I think it is taught. I think these things are taught. I mean, nearly every primary school I know, they have health and family life education. There's a lot of information that is brought across through our school system regarding that. Probably should be. Can there be more? No doubt. I think so. Yes. But I think maybe it's the reinforcement that is needed. That it certainly maybe we need to look at it a little bit to see whether what we are teaching is sufficient. And so that we can get a better sense as to, are we also teaching conflict resolution? Are we teaching how to advise people, how to, if people are in need, how you can support them, how you can provide, you can't necessarily do the intervention, but who should you go to assist in intervention? So, yeah, I agree with you that, and the point that's being made, that we need to look at it and see if we're doing enough in the current circumstance. Yep, well, thanks very much for that contribution, caller, and have yourself a good one. And, of course, the number to call in to tell us what's on your plate today, it is 4523046. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate today? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, caller. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Be happy 2024 year. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you, but I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I said I'm very happy 2024 year.
Thank you very much, caller, and many happy returns to you. We're still having a little bit of a challenge hearing you for some reason. I'm not sure.
And the government, I wish them well, and they already said this year is the year of structure. So we're looking for that infrastructure. Like when I grew up in St. Lucia, we had people walking on the road regularly.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you have a team of people in the north or in the south, and they year-round they walking. Anywhere there is a patch, before it gets bad, used to patch it. One of them used to be a woman.
Well, the challenge is, yes, and I agree with you. There is a need to ensure that you have many maintenance units or teams, and I believe that last I knew it was a northern and a southern group handling potholing. However, the problem that we find ourselves in right now, caller, is that we have about, let's say, 20 years or so ago, there was a significant amount of investment in road infrastructure. And we're getting ourselves to a point where a lot of those roads are at end of life or they're beyond their life. You know, like if all things, you know, you may have a fridge and you may, if you're fortunate, you might get 10 years out of that fridge or you know, these days perhaps even less.
Yeah, just like
But,
a car.
or anything pretty much has a life cycle.
Yeah.
And the reality is that, yeah, you may want to try to maintain this, but it's just that it's gotten to a point where it is just simply not capable of coping anymore. And so the cost of, you'll be potholing almost every week, basically.
Yeah,
That's my point.
What happened, Mr. George?
And so,
Under the British, they had those people walking on the road, although we didn't have a lot of road, but regularly, yearly, those people walk until they retire. They're regular. They moved them from there to there. We had the PWD truck to take them from A to B, and they will walk the whole year.
Well,
so if we have people maintaining the road, it won't get as bad as it is.
well, you've said something very important, caller, and that is we didn't have as many roads as before. The nature of our development now is that we have engaged in a lot of expansionary urbanization, right? We've got a lot of urban sprawl. We've got a lot more roads to maintain now. We've got a lot more roads to build. Every person has a street in front of their house, and it's that is the challenge that you know all countries around the world are going to face. I mean, the United States is facing it, and they're realizing the folly of this approach to development. And which we pretty much took their model of development and we applied it here, and we're facing that situation even without their kind of resources. So that's our challenge right now.
We building in St. Lucia and probably other part of the Caribbean is not quality road. In the big developed country, they concrete the road before they tarmac it. So the tarmac only go probably 2 inches, and it's pure concrete, and still you have for your foundation. So when you have a little hole, that little hole will go as far as the concrete.
But expense, caller, expense, and even even with concrete too, you got challenges.
So expensive,
and
not afford it.
Yeah, so I mean, you'll find that you're still gonna find Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing, caller. We still are gonna find ourselves in a situation where, as a country with very scarce resources, you have to be able to see how we can plan to ensure that we are making best use of those resources. And part of it is to get efficient use. It's how you structure your countries. The problem is, you know, caller, the model that we have is urban sprawl, right? We're building further and further out. And that means that everybody.
But having more people in it.
Well, yes, you have more people, but then the question is, how do you accommodate for those individuals, for new households, right? And we have not really done sufficiently in terms of trying to increase density, right? So that is a major challenge that we're facing, and increasing density does not require you to build a 10-story building, you know, in each instance. That model is not really a very sustainable model. But your mid-rise type buildings, your 3-level, 4-level structures, you know, that is certainly an area that is lacking significantly in terms of our model. We have a lot of areas that are very low density, and that we can in fact have better housing options for people in closer proximity. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, caller.
Yeah. We used to have Asu Square. And they said, did you go to Asu Square this?
I just passed by. So I don't know. What about it?
Yeah, we used to have Asu Square. They say Asu Square too small. They take Asu Square, they bring it in a mud hole somewhere down the valley.
Right, yes.
Take it to Boseju.
I was at Pigeon Island as well at one point.
And one day I call Ulbuski. I used to go Ulbuski like talking to you. And I say, Ulbuski, Asu Square, it was, I think, year 2002. I said, what they can do with Asu Square, I could remedy that, just like that. And he said, how? I said, well, just close some of the streets.
Right.
Close Labrie Street. Close Pinot Street.
Right.
Close
the Boulevard.
Street to end the Peter William Boulevard.
Right.
And I said to him, take Constitution Park, mix there. Most of the game, put it in Peter William Boulevard. And he said to me, 1 minute, if he could get Trevor Hunt, he would have called him right now. But as soon as show finish, he going to look for people. And they done it. And it works. It come out from me. That caller that talking to you right now.
Okay.
I give them that idea. And look at how it works.
Yes. I mean, as it is now, we don't really have any of the large rides or anything like that. There's no Tivoli Gardens theme park, rides anymore. So you definitely don't need as much space, if you're not going to be putting up those types of events. And what you're saying is also important because, you take some of these activities out of the city center and then it becomes more challenging for some people to actually get to those locations sometimes.
They go there, they cover mud and things like that. But my idea like because I grew up in all my time in the UK, when they have Queen Bove, this, that, and the other, all they do, they close the street.
And even in keeping with what you were saying, if we did have the rides, you could have then also used the George V Park, the gardens, as well as another potential location.
Yeah, you're definitely right. There's a lot of... But where it was, the old...
Okay, Carl, I think...
there again.
Okay, we seem to be having some issues hearing you, caller, but thanks very, very much for that contribution. And certainly, Asu Square, in fact, the New Year's Fair is one of the oldest continuously running festivals in St. Lucia. I think right now it's over 150 years old. And so very interesting tradition, of course, which is not unique. Many other places will have Christmas festivals or New Year's festivals, and this one certainly has had a very long and interesting tradition. So, of course, kudos to the organizers who continue to make it happen. That's all the time we have today here on the Lunchroom. We will be back again tomorrow, God willing, for another program. Hope you can join us for that. And, of course, do have yourself a very, very blessed day.